The Dick Cavett Show with Rex Reed. The stars of Zabriskie Point, Mark Frechette and Daria Halprin. Comedian Mel Brooks. Psychoanalyst and consultant to the Motion Picture Association, Dr. Aaron Stern. And Bob Rosengarten and the orchestra. Ladies and gentlemen, Dick Cavett.
Thank you. That was wonderful. Someone threw me a flower and I kicked it. Just a joke. Would you have that pressed for me and put it in my copy of Paradise Lost? How are you? See, I want to get right to your cards because we have a whale of a show tonight.
Indeed.
A whale of a show? You get nervous before your show? No, I'm too busy throwing up. And I'd never... That was a silly thing to say. Dear Mr. Cavett, why hasn't Paul Newman been on? I'm sorry, I was late and I was running down here and I'm out of breath. Why hasn't Paul Newman been on, and can I be your guest when he's on, Marcia Kimmel? If I get Newman, what do I need with you? Why do you always kid Bob Rosengarten's warm-up? He does the best one ever. This writing looks very familiar. What do you know about Kokomo, Indiana? Listen, you're either Elizabeth Kimmel or you're from Kokomo, Indiana, but you can't be both, or whatever her name was. Kokomo, Indiana, the city of firsts. Why, of course it is. Who'd go back for seconds? Oh, thanks. Pelted. Pelted with flowers. I want to wear a miniskirt. Wait a minute. I wanted to wear a miniskirt made out of an American flag. Would it be blanked out? Sidna. Sidna?
Sydney.
No. Sydney? No, come on. Would it be blanked out? Where are you, Sydney? Oh. That's not all it'd be blanked out. I can't really see it. Why does Rex Reed hate Barbara Streisand? We think she's great. Well, that's only one of the reasons. No. I don't know. I don't think he does, Phil. I don't think he does. We'll find out. Do you wear the... Shut up or sober up there, would you, please? I'm not in any mood to fool around. Do you wear the pants in your family? Yes. Especially if we're expecting company. What goes through your mind? What goes through... I can't stop for laughter. What goes through your mind when you're doing the monologue? If it's going great, I think what a wonderful business to be in. If it's not, I wonder how I suddenly got into the city library. Here's some startling information. If you stroke a cat 1,000,000 times, you can generate enough electricity to light a light bulb. Well, that's very exciting. That's what they're doing at Con Ed all day, I guess. That's really quite exciting. Thank you. Do you wake up happy in the morning? No, he has his own alarm clock. Get it? You're trying to like me, aren't you? Do you always wear that beret, and why? Yes, I never take this beret off. What beret?
The Dutch cap you wear.
This is my hair. Huh?
The Dutch cap that you wear.
Oh, my cap. Oh, yeah. No, I always sometimes wear that and don't others. Do you select the gnats? The guests for the show? How do you select the guests for the show? The usual sources. They come from all over, show business and everywhere, people whose names are in the papers. And then, if you want a serious answer, agents submit people. If we're short one and we need an odd person on, what's known as the weirdo in the trade, we send someone walking down Broadway, and they watch and see who pauses in front of those risque underwear stores. And is that how we got some of you? Can you say hi? Can I say hi to the kids in a small township of Jersey called Pennsauken? Can I say hi? Do I have to go there to do it? there's another one about Pennsauken. Let's see. What do you think of a person who drives all the way to New York from Connecticut to see you under pressure from his girlfriend? Either you're very fond of your girlfriend or you're ridiculously henpecked. Why don't you dress Rosengarten?
What?
I haven't finished. Why don't you dress Rosengarten the way Carson dresses Severinsen? Well, Rosengarten is able to dress himself. We have to go away. We'll be right back. Stay where you are. As you may know, tomorrow night on ABC, that is. Well, tomorrow night in the whole world, but you'll see it on ABC. The Academy Awards will be given out. Wow, wow! And we have asked the film critic of movie film. Boy, some guys really talk great, don't they? The film critic of Holiday Magazine is Rex Reed, and he's sort of an expert on Hollywood and the Oscars. He's a writer about films and also an actor in them now. And he's going to give us some dope on tomorrow night. Here is Rex Reed. They seem to dig your threads in the balcony. Do they say
it's a little
threads anymore?
little Bill Blast number here.
Bill Blast?
Yeah.
Looks like Bill blasted himself into oblivion there.
Yeah, it's kind of Argyle. They tell me that all the great 30s and 40s things are coming back.
And Argyle was big in the 40s?
Yeah.
Argyle socks,
Yeah.
Argyle...
June Pricer used to wear Argyle socks in all the MGM musicals, you know.
Who did?
When she would swing right into Mickey Rooney's arms.
Who's that?
June Pricer.
Oh, you're older
June
than I am.
Pricer and the Teenagers?
You must be much older than I am.
Oh, of course.
June...
I think I'm older than everybody at this
Does anyone
point.
in here know who June Pricer is?
There's a man right there who said yes.
Rosengarten remembers film before it had sound or anything. Or even pictures. Well, here we are, on the eve of Oscar night, all of us panting and breathlessly wondering which of our heroes are going to be rewarded by the little gold statue.
Well, there aren't many heroes nominated this year, so there won't be too many who will win, I don't think. But I covered it one year for Women's Wear Daily,
Right.
and I decided then that I would restrict all of my circus going to Madison Square Garden from here on. So
You're
I'm
not
not going
you're not
out
gonna actually be
for
there in
it,
person.
no. But I jotted down some. I have the nominations here, and I thought it might be interesting to kind of go over them. And
Are you
I
gonna...
also have a few little. There's some things that people don't know about the Academy Awards, which I think are very interesting. People are always asking, can Academy Awards be bought and things like that. Well, I don't think they can be bought, but I do think that blocks of votes sometimes affect awards because studios get behind all of their personnel, and the secretary who works in the administration office might, you know, a box of candy might buy a vote for a certain actor or something because of the 2,980 people who vote for the best film, for instance.
Wait a minute, what's a secretary doing voting?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Of the people who vote for the best film, 883 people who vote are from non-craft branches of the Academy like public relations and administration and it's something called members at large, whatever that, people that they haven't been able to find in years and things like that. and then there are really always deficiencies in the technical awards. I'm not going to get into all of that because we don't have the time, but the technical awards, I think, are things that people should know about. For instance, there's a New York branch of filmmaker, people like Frank Perry and Arthur Penn and people like that who have never really made movies in Hollywood, although Arthur Penn did have one bad experience out there. But these pictures, for instance, are always edited by the directors who make the pictures. Now, this alienates the editors who vote for the editing awards, and they almost never vote for directors' pictures if the directors have edited them and have not hired editors from Hollywood to edit them. And people don't know that. They always wonder, why did that movie never win any Academy Awards? Well, there are many reasons, political and all sorts of things. Also, did you know that an Academy Award only costs $60?
You mean the medal and the whole thing?
Yeah,
is
actors,
$60?
$60, and the actors used to hawk them all the time because as soon as they would win them, they'd run out of bread or something, and they'd hawk the Academy Award. But now they've made that illegal. You can't hawk your Oscar anymore. The Academy will buy it back for $10.
Oh, really? It says not negotiable on the
But
bottom.
anyway, among the Among the things that were nominated this year, first of all, we have just the worst thing ever, I think, that could have happened was the way they completely overlooked The Damned, the Visconti film, which I think is one of the most exciting films I've ever seen.
I didn't see it yet.
And it's not nominated for anything, you know. It's nominated for a few little awards, but not Best Picture. Visconti wasn't nominated. Instead, we have Best Picture of the Year, Hello, Dolly.
Someone said yay. However, just
That's
because
the only person who saw Hello, Dolly, I think. It's not doing terribly good business.
we have to be very fair here. The opposing view is that Hello, Dolly is not a great movie.
Yes.
There, I thought I would present that view. You see, so that they're equal time.
The opposing view of several million people, I think.
I didn't see it, of course.
Anne of the Thousand Days. Well, Anne of the Thousand Days, I think, probably will win.
Do you? I didn't see it.
I think that will probably win because Hollywood still thinks I wouldn't vote for it, but I think that Midnight Cowboy should win. But I don't think it's going to win because it's a very New York-based film, and
I saw it.
That's one you've seen.
I got one.
Well, you're a real movie-going kid.
Well, I like to go to the... Yeah, thank you.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid will probably not win for the simple reason that it is also made by the same studio that made Hello, Dolly. So you'll have split votes there. Half of the people will get bigger boxes of candy and they'll vote for Hello, Dolly. So, and then you have Z. Well, Z is a great film, but I don't think Z will win because Z, they made the very stupid mistake of nominating Z for both Best Picture and Best Foreign Film. So it will probably win Best Foreign Film, and I doubt if it will win Best Picture.
Oh,
now,
Rex. I didn't see Z. I really didn't. I'm so behind on my movies.
Keeping up with the times.
I'm up
here,
to L.
you?
I haven't gotten to Z yet, but I... Carry on.
The Best Actor of the Year, here is a category that really disturbs me this year because I really have the terrible, lurking, poisonous suspicion that John Wayne will win the Academy Award.
Oh, what's wrong with John Wayne now? Wait a minute. I wanted to be John Wayne when I was a kid. I really did. When we played Cowboys and Indians, I played John Wayne.
Uh-huh. Well.
The rest of the people were girls that I was playing with. But I played John Wayne.
I don't think there's anything wrong with John Wayne. I don't dislike John Wayne. But the fact that he has finally played a smelly old drunk who falls off his horse and is finally getting around to playing is really...
Oh, wait a minute.
You know, that is just not a good enough reason to give the man an Academy Award.
Well, I ought to knock your block off for And I will after... Wait a minute.
The tragedy is...
You can't walk in here and talk like that. We got a message. Oh, I lost it right at the end. Well, little Rexy Reed is going to talk some more. Hey, I got a question about the Oscars. I got to tell you this.
Your act is hard to follow.
I got to tell you. I got to ask you this. I mean, what ever becomes of supporting actors? I looked in the almanac that lists the winners over the past years, and there are 7 or 8 names in the last 15 years that you never heard of again.
Well, that's because the people are so stupid out there that they give Academy Awards to people for saying things like sayonara, and then they can't do anything else. They go up for the next picture and they say sayonara, and they say, well, that was, we don't need you for that.
Well, that certainly enlightens me on that.
I mean, but you look back at all the supporting actor awards and supporting actresses, and a lot of them are people, who really should have been supporting, and they never become big stars. This year, Elliot Gould is nominated for a supporting actor, and I don't think he's a supporting actor at all. I think he's a star, and so it may be the first time, if he wins, that a real star gets, a supporting award. But I don't think he'll win. I think it will go to Jack Nicholson for Easy Rider. And my favorite actress in the supporting actress category was a wonderful little girl who I thought gave one of the most startling...
Kathy Burns?
Kathy Burns in Last Summer. And I don't think Hollywood knows who she is. I really don't think they're aware of her. I think they'll give it to Diane Cannon because she finally had Cary Grant's baby. You know, I mean, that's really the way they think out there. And Cary Grant, by the way, is being given a special Academy Award this year just for being Cary Grant. And
I don't blame them for that.
he's not going to show up. He was supposed to come, and Grace Kelly was flying over from Monaco to give him the award. And she's not coming now because he won't show up. And he won't show up because of the some lady is slapping him with a something, and he is afraid to, you know, be embarrassed by seeing his ex-wife, Diane Cannon, who is up for the Supporting Actress Award. So a little glamour goes out of the Oscars again this year, folks.
Isn't this fun, folks?
But
hey, why don't they do one
let
thing?
Let me just comment on one thing, and this is, I think, the criminal bit of oversight of the year, and that is the Best Actress Award this year is going to really be hard to determine. I think it will probably be split between Jane Fonda and Liza Minnelli. But I think that the greatest performance by an actress of the year was really Maggie Smith in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie. And I certainly think she deserves it, but as you can see from the scattered applause, half the people here have probably not even seen that movie and are not aware of Maggie Smith.
Well, they've seen it, but they're just not listening.
But I think that popularity plays such a big part in the
well, now I see an
Oscars.
inconsistency in you, because you say you point out that there's a lot of nonsense connected with the Academy Awards, and then you say that it's a crime that so-and-so didn't win one. If they're so silly, what does it matter who wins them?
Well, I think... What does that mean?
Well, I mean...
What? Now, say that again.
Well, I mean, how can it be a crime not to win something that's ludicrous?
I think it's a crime for people not to be recognized for their merits and for their abilities. I think that winning an Academy Award really doesn't mean anything. I think that even if Maggie Smith won, it would mean nothing except that she would get more dough for the next picture.
How much?
Your salary goes up.
How much? How really?
Well,
I mean,
it depends
what's
on what her last picture was. You know how much.
I've always heard that your price goes up. But say you made $50,000, or I don't know what it
Well,
would
then you
be.
can suddenly ask $100 and probably get it.
Yeah.
You can double your price.
What's funny about them? A lot of things are funny about them, but the idea of best actor is the wrong phrase to use. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, they ought to say the most popular actor this year or something like that. But if he's the best actor, then why isn't he still the best actor next year? Is it that he doesn't have as much talent anymore, and that somebody, I mean, not someone new was born. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I know, yes.
Is Laurence Olivier suddenly less talented this year than he was last year?
Or when he made Hamlet, you know.
Yeah, I mean, why wasn't the best actor the best actor till he dies?
The prime example of that is the way the people in the Academy themselves are always talking about how Marlon Brando is the greatest actor in Hollywood. But they overlooked Marlon Brando. Everybody in Streetcar Named Desire won an Academy Award except Marlon Brando. They never gave an award to Garbo. They never gave an award to Spencer Tracy. I mean, wait, they did. I think Boys Town, Spencer Tracy got one. But they never gave an award to Orson Welles. There are a lot of... Chaplin, I don't think, ever
Chaplin
got an award.
never, no.
Many people who...
I always have a fantasy that I'm winning an Oscar, and I reject it. And I give it to Chaplin and to Orson Welles and to Garbo. I slice my Oscar three ways.
I'm always... if I ever win an Academy Award, I'm just going to... these long-winded speeches that people always... they thank their maids and their agents and their mother-in-laws, and I'm just going to say I owe it all to Banaka. Especially if I get one from Myra Breckinridge.
I always want someone to say, no one makes a movie alone, and if it weren't for all the little people who got underfoot and bugged us all the way through the film, we could have brought it in a lot cheaper and a lot sooner. You know how annoying little people are when you're making a movie? We'll be right back, I guess. Here's, I think, one of the world's funniest, most inspired, most unimitatable men. He first became, I guess, known really to the public with the 2,000-Year-Old Man record that he made with Carl Reiner. And then he and I made some Ballantine beer. Can I say that? Commercials together, which played in the radio for a long time, for about a year, and were very funny, but didn't sell the beer, apparently. But people tried to buy the commercials, which is sort of amusing. And Mel Brooks won an Oscar for his The Producers. Certainly one of the world's weirdest men, Mr. Mel Brooks. Yeah. I didn't mean to say one of the world's weirdest men. I meant one of the
Do you know
most...
they were playing Springtime for Hitler?
Is that what that was? Yeah, that's right.
Thanks a lot, Bobby.
Somehow you just don't resemble him. I don't know what it is, but...
Well, I'm not political anymore. We have a little place in Argentina. We growing coffee, doing our best.
That's so. Say, you're an Oscar winner. We were just discussing the Oscars. I don't know if you were paying attention
Yes,
to that.
I am an Oscar winner.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to thank...
Are you going to use yours for a doorstop?
Still thinking, yeah?
My Oscar...
Where is your Oscar?
My Oscar is living in Detroit now. Well,
Lord Alfred Douglas. Sorry.
My Oscar is on my mother's credenza in Brooklyn.
Oh, no.
It sits there with my Emmy and my
Really?
mammy.
I thought your mother was in Miami.
Everybody in the building comes in and to see. It looks very good tonight.
Is she proud of it? Does your mother know what you do?
All mothers are proud of everything. What do they know? What can I tell you?
I can picture her saying, "Look what my son, who should have been a doctor, won." I think that's probably her attitude.
She never really wanted me to go into show business because she didn't want me to expose myself to the world as an idiot, and she thought it was unseemly and undignified. And those are her own words. It's very unseemly and undignified. Just that way, she said.
She colors it a little differently when she speaks.
She preferred that I would try something else, a doctor, a lawyer. But I persisted, and I have brought glory to her apartment in Brooklyn. Cake and coffee is served at 11 o'clock every night. They come in and look at the Oscar.
Gee.
Your son, the tall one. Believe it or not, I have brothers and a mother. Everybody in my family is about 4'3", 4'4".
No kidding.
I am called Stretch at home. Very short people.
Your wife, Anne Bancroft.
Baxter.
Did you ever make that mistake? That would be unfortunate.
No, I never have.
I wouldn't think so.
No, somehow.
Where does she keep hers? Her Oscars. Wait a minute. What's she won?
She's won an Oscar, 3 British Academy Awards, the Cannes Film Festival, Tony 2. She's won a couple of awards.
Yeah.
Also on her mother's TV set in Yonkers.
Oscars go to mothers.
Oscars go to mothers. That's the title of my next musical, Oscars go to mothers. Oscars go to mothers. Yes.
Yes. You can take anything and turn it into art.
I
It's
sure
amazing.
can destroy any... Bobby, are you going to catch everything?
You're up
tonight. Okay. 2 Jews got off an Arab. There you go.
Mel used to be a. I think we should explain that to Iowa. Mel used to be a comic for a time in what we call the mountains, I guess. When you actually went that route.
Yes, I used to do a stand-up thing. I learned just how to do it. You put your hand here and you say, "Good evening, ladies and germs. Welcome to a bang-up variety show presented by and for the boys here at the Good Luck Inn. We have a swell high club for tonight, strictly high club, loads of channel, lots of... The girls will be out in a minute. Girls will be coming out. Wait, give me a break. And I'm going to be your MC. That's short for mental case. I just flew in from Chicago, and boy, are my arms tired.
Did you actually do all this?
I did. Mice or hunchback. I did those jokes.
You didn't even bother to do the first part, right?
I used to say she was so skinny, the waiters said, check your umbrella. But I became very, very tired. I worked in the mountains, and I really got sick, filled with despair. Each night, every night, another string of dopey jokes, another dopey crowd eating sponge cake and drinking schnapps in the back.
Must have been
And so
awful.
I decided that I would pioneer and I would do intelligent material. So one night I went out, I said, ladies and gentlemen, I decided to do something a little freaky. I said, ladies and gentlemen, man of 1,000 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they waited for 1,000 faces. They waited. They said, well, 76. They waited. I did 88.
That takes nerve. I think most people would have dropped off after 350.
The next night, the mice were hunchback. Right?
Right back again. You're up to your ears now
I sure am.
in a film, I mean, in a
Yes.
new movie.
As a matter of fact, sitting in the front row, Alan Heim, my editor, who was denigrated by Rex Reed, all the editors, my film editor, my chef de montage, sitting there with his assistants, Walter Rappaport, Richard Goldberg, sitting there, and his girlfriend, Josie. Sitting.
How do we know you're not
And,
making up these names?
No, these are normal Jewish people sitting right there.
They certainly look normal.
Is that true? Alan, is that true that editors don't vote for directors who are working with editors? Just say yes or no. You're not on the show.
Only California.
Only California. See, in New York, this thing doesn't go on.
You notice that the house lights went up for 2 words?
You know, as a matter of fact, Dee Dee Allen works with Arthur Penn, and she's a very, very respected and, highly appreciated film editor.
They all hate her in California.
They hate her in California? They're crazy in California.
Because she's from New
She's a
York?
New York editor.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but she's respected. Is it necessary to be respected to be a good film editor?
How so?
Well, you said she's very respected. You mean?
No, I mean, she's done, I don't know, Bonnie and Clyde.
I
some
see.
marvelous
She's done
films,
a lot
and
of good things.
She's held in high esteem.
Oh, yeah. You just made a film in Yugoslavia.
Yes.
Is that not true?
That's true, sir.
Why would you go to Yugoslavia when can't you find locations in America
Well,
that look like
it's-
Yugoslavia? Oh, there's no time for you to answer that. We will be
Well,
right.
I'm going to answer it anyway. I don't care about your stinking commercial.
We'll be right back. Who's going to answer? You're wondering why it takes so long.
I mean, 4 commercials and a station break.
Oh, no,
I mean,
wasn't that
really,
many.
that's dreadful.
Wasn't that many.
It's terrible.
Well,
It's terrible. It really
Is
is.
it terrible?
Yeah.
well, if it's...
They kind of sandwich the show in.
Yes, we separate the commercials here
Right.
with entertainment.
You work between Jell-O. It's terrible.
Yeah.
Really, Dick. Sing, Dennis.
Have you ever been censored on television? Is there ever anything you've always wanted to say that
I've
you
always
couldn't?
wanted to say, right?
Oh, yeah. Just thought I'd ask.
Yes.
Your comedy is very clean and...
One time I did, you once asked me a question.
Yes,
and
it
that was censored.
Was it really?
No, maybe there wasn't any time for it. Remember that when I was on Dick's show,
Yeah.
The morning show, and he said, "What would you like to say or do that you never have in front of millions of people?"
That's right. You were standing center stage, commanding the audience.
And I said, "Give me a little, Bobby, just a little. No, kind of like glory music, quiet glory. That's it." In 1941, the Japanese had the effrontery to attack our great nation. Tonight, on this stage, we're going to answer that attack. You ready? What are you going to say? That's all I
That
wanted
was it.
to say.
That was it. Yes.
Now, how we were going to answer it, I didn't know.
No.
I'll tell you the truth.
You really didn't know where you were going.
We didn't
You'll
have a
just take
big
a
answer
chance
to
like
it.
that?
There was World War II. I mean, that answered some of it. But I thought that we could come up with something to kind of put the question at ease. And we didn't.
Yeah, we didn't. But it was certainly worth the effort, and not a lot of people would have the courage to state a thing like that.
That's quite
and do
true.
that.
Get to the next question,
Yes.
you're dying.
That's so. Well, I wanted to hear about your film in Yugoslavia. Why did you shoot a
My
film
film in Yugoslavia.
Yes.
Yes. Well, we did it in Tadeo and Vistavision. We were thinking of doing it in 185 or 166. But somebody said, you better do it with a camera or else nobody's going to see it. So we got a couple of brownies. We did a movie in Yugoslavia. And we lived in Belgrade, the very heartland of Yugoslavia. We lived there for 6 months in Belgrade. The whole city is lit with a 10-watt bulb. I ate nothing but kasha 3 times a day. Those are groats. Wheat. It's mush. It's it. That's what it is.
It's a Yugoslavian dish.
We lived there in Yugoslavia, in the mud and the fields. If you go to Yugoslavia, don't pack a horse and wagon. They have many of them there. Don't have to take that. Everything else, Everything possible, take it. Leave a horse and wagon home.
Really, they're short of equipment there. Are they in certain...
We said we're doing a movie. They said, great. Fine, terrific. Just do it anywhere. And I said, what about a camera and lights? And oh, no, we don't. You want a horse and wagon? Give you a horse and wagon.
Kind of limits you, doesn't it?
Yeah. And we had a Yugoslavian sound crew to begin with. And I'd say to them, we'd do a take, and I'd say, have you got it? And they'd say, kak duvajic. I'd say, did you get it? They'd say, haluchit. I'd say, did you get it? Hvala lepo. I said, if they don't understand English, how can they be the sound crew? And the producer said, good question. Good, we'll get an English sound crew. So they flew from England, sound people. We had a Yugoslavian sound crew for about the first month of the picture. Didn't know what we were talking about.
Did you have to scrap a lot of work?
Have you got that, Janos? Halach. Heard a few words. He said it's terrific.
Isn't the plot concerned with Russia, though?
Yes, the plot takes place in Russia, post-revolutionary Russia, 1927, and we're thinking of shooting it in Russia, but then they might start shooting in Russia. So we said, we'll get close to Russia. We went to Yugoslavia, Byzantine architecture, beautiful fields, and a lot of wagons, horses and wagons.
More wagons.
Actually, I don't want to sound, derogatory, pejorative about Yugoslavia, because they are great people. They're marvelous people. Seriously, if the Russians had attacked or, invaded Yugoslavia like they did Czechoslovakia, the Yugoslavians would have fought and died to the last person. They just simply would not have.
That's so.
The Russians have incredible respect and the brushstroke of fear for Yugoslavia. I mean,
Was there any danger of that while you were there? Were you ever nervous?
Yeah, they had a bit of a contretemps. There was a Russian ambassador came over to straighten it out. But we were nervous for a few days. I mean, that there'd be a few bullets whizzing by, but they settled it,
Do you find that action of that kind would upset you? Are you
Death always makes me nervous. Death, always. A little death, you can't eat rice pudding,
True.
Very bad. In the morning you wake up, you die the rest of the day. You have nothing to do.
No fun anymore.
Finish, right.
Who's in the movie? No.
Ron Moody is starring in it.
Oh.
He was Fagin in Oliver, and I think he's marvelous, but, it's not my place to say. A New York actor by the name of Frank Langella,
Oh, he's
who has
wonderful.
never been in a film.
Yeah.
He did Cry of Players at Lincoln Center with my wife, and I saw him in that production, and I thought he was terrific, and he's terrific in my picture.
He's good. He did something with my wife once.
Would you care to tell us about it on the air? What did he
You're
do?
supposed to get the
Yeah.
laughs here. I shouldn't have said. No, they were in a play together. That's what I mean. Let's quickly move on to the next
right.
thing, shall we? Hey, I know you don't like.
And Dom DeLuise, let's not leave out Dom DeLuise. He's in the movie. He plays a Russian Orthodox priest. He finds out that there are some jewels, and he rips off his cross and his cassock, and he's off. He's a terrible person.
Dom DeLuise is a funny man.
He's really funny.
Hey, when we come back, can I surprise you with something?
I don't know. You want to talk about it first before you do?
Actually, we have something here. Do you mind if I... Does this mean anything to you?
Ah, yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Brooks has invented a character, a wine taster, dear to the hearts of everyone who's ever met him. His name is... What is his name again?
Piela Tongue. Any name.
That's good enough for me. We have a glass here, or beaker,
Yes.
whatever you prefer to call it, Mr. Latang, and we wondered if you would show us what exactly you do in your line of work.
Of course, of course, of course.
Perhaps you could identify.
Chateau Mouton, Blanc, 58.
No.
59. 62.
No.
Chablis.
No, it isn't. Afraid not.
Of course, you must taste, of course.
Ah.
It's a Marc Lafitte Sauterne, 1929. There's nothing like it. There will never be
No,
a
it
wine.
isn't. That's
It's
not- that's not correct.
It's not Marc Lafitte. Take another little taste, a little off tonight. Little pepper for lunch, you know, destroy the taste bud. Okay? It's beer.
I don't know.
No?
No, I think not.
Is it chiclets?
No, I'm afraid you're not even warm.
It's a potato knish. It's farmer cheese.
No, I'm afraid you're really way off now.
Goobers?
No, you're far from it.
I don't know what it is.
We'll be back right after this. Old Yugoslavian dance there.
Oh, that was great.
Say-
Bobby Rosengart.
Yep.
He is
Something.
tops and taps. Here we are, folks. Here we are back with the extravagant Gentile and Wonder Jew. A great juxtaposition of textures.
That's good enough
Yeah.
for me.
Here we are, back again, Twin Cities, St. Paul and Haifa. But I want to tell you...
You called me spectacularly Gentile in a national magazine one time. And
I
it
did, I'm sorry
got
about
a lot
that.
of letters
Since
about
you're in the
people.
business,
Yeah,
if you want to
people-
stay in show business, you just have a little nose bob done. You just get it out and turn it left, kid, or you're finished.
Oh, yeah?
You haven't got a chance, my friend.
What a dainty suggestion. What? So, when you did your act now, are you serious about that? Did you actually get out and do the jokes and the impressions and the whole thing that comics do when they're on...
I try to do different things, you know. I really try to break out. I used to do impressions that were weird, like I do Humphrey Bogart's sister. You know, it was strange.
Ooh, no one else does that.
Susan Bogart. Should I do a little Susan Bogart?
How many people want a little... I think I know. All right.
Well, Humphrey is he's doing very well. He's making a lot of money. We're not worried about him. He's fine. He doesn't send too much money home. We'd like to see $1 from his work, but we think he's terrific. He's left an impression on our family we'll never forget. It's a blue mark on my back. Would you like to see it?
No, I wouldn't care about
Then
that.
I used to do
That was
James
supposed-
Cagney's aunt, Hilda Cagney. She went like this. She went like this. Hilda Cagney. Jimmy never, he was always, what can I tell you? I mean, he was always nice in the house, never trouble, you know what I mean? Always gentle, always terrific. He never brought a penny in the house, I'll say that. He never sent any money home, but we don't care. God bless him. Let him do his thing, you know what I mean? He's very short. God bless him.
That's
Hilda
uncanny.
Cagney, right.
I'd swear that his sister was sitting here now, the way you did that. It was just wonderful.
Don't swear to it.
Really, it was good. Did you do the singers? Oh, you know what? I've been asked to try to coax you to do Sinatra sometime. I'm told that you do.
Oh, I have a
Frank
cigarette. It's easy.
That's it? You're doing it now?
I used to do an impression a long time ago of Frank Sinatra's impression of America the Beautiful. I mean, how Frank would kind of wing it, you know.
Will we surprise you with a little stool over there? You could use our stage.
You mean really get out and sit on the stool? Okay.
If you would.
Frank Sinatra, America the Beautiful. Got it? Okay. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesty above the tutti frutti plain. Ooh, America, hey, America, God shed his grace on thee and sort of kind of crown my door with a big fat gang of motherhood. From sea Scooby-Doo to sea Shooby-Doo. Well, you know the tag. That's... have more than a modicum of taste. You're a very smart, good audience. You're all... Thank you.
Listen.
I have parked outside a 38 maroon Buick. I want to see you all in the back of the car after the show. I have a couple of parliaments in a glove compartment. Take a few. Relax. We'll go to a bar. We'll talk, everybody, later. Yes.
You're quite a generous guy.
Yes, I'm a good-natured person.
Say, we have we've surprised you so much that I suppose it would be really presuming on your good nature to surprise you any further. But, and I hate surprises, we have some things behind your chair you wouldn't suspect. It's the 2,000-year-old man's duds.
Well...
Now, you don't have to...
Hold it. Don't
you
force
can
me
reject
into it.
this.
I forgot the whole act. I usually do it with Carl.
Oh, well,
and,
I resemble Carl.
Yes, in your shoes you resemble Carl. No, but I mean, I'm just talking about the physical dimensions that are different in terms of, face, physiognomy, etc.
Why don't we, during this message, let you decide, wrestle with your soul, and see if you think you could do it.
We'll see you in an hour, folks.
We'll be right back. Here we are. Chapeau.
Okay. It's not
All
the
right.
best one, but...
Will it do?
Sure.
Can you make do with that? I don't know why the 2,000-year-old man
Can't.
wears a cape.
It's the worst cape. They
How
got
many-
me the worst...
Wonderful.
All right, I'm getting in character, I'm feeling it, I'm Jewish. All right.
Would you like to... It's an honor to see you again, sir. You are, as we all know...
Yes, sir. How are
In
you?
all of your 2,000 years, I doubt if you've seen a cane exactly like that one. but
Never.
It's the best that we
It's the
could...
best knob, and I've never seen. It's an orb. All I need is a scepter, and I can go to Julie's party. All right.
When were you born, sir, exactly, so we can clear that up?
Let me see. I don't have enough digits. I couldn't do it. I was born about roughly 2,007 years ago. Roughly.
2007, so you're more than the 2,000-year-old man.
A
You're
little older,
much more
yes.
than...
How we say 2007, young, not to curse ourselves.
Yes, I see.
Cute. We're very cute people.
You must have some secret of longevity that makes it possible for
A
you
few
to be...
things, if I can remember. One of the main things that's kept me rolling along and singing a song for so many years, excuse me, is exercise. Exercise has kept me happy and snappy.
I think exercise... at your
Every
age-
morning I open the window, I go by the window, and I crash to my knees and I pray to God, please don't let my heart attack me. Give me another day. That's my exercise, mainly praying to my Lord.
You don't do any
Keep
jogging?
up the good
or-
work.
Any,
What's
any
jogging?
jogging? Or,
What is it?
That's running in place and exercising
Running
the body.
in place. What's the purpose?
Well, the purpose is to keep the body in good tone. and
Where
keep-
do you go?
Well, you probably end up in the same place, unless, of course, you run across a large area horizontally, or if you describe a trajectory by going over a hill of some sort. That would be
You
another
describe
form
a
of...
trajectory? Mm-hmm. How would you describe a trajectory?
Well, it would be very difficult. I have never seen a trajectory. That's merely a figure of speech, or it's actually in physics, it describes a
I
curve.
met a girl in a bar once. I think her name was Trajectory.
I see.
Trajectory Phillips.
I'm sorry I
we
got
used
into
to call
that.
her Traj. Go ahead.
Traj, was that it? Well, you probably have an advantage over all of us from you know how a lot of things started, like language itself. We use words all the time. Can you remember when...
I'll be finished.
I say language. You probably were around when it was invented, 2,000 years
Oh,
ago.
yes.
so-
Before I was there when it started. I mean, when I was a kid, I'm not talking about the old days, George M. Cohan. I mean, way back.
Way back,
Way back. We didn't have language. We used to say to each other, woof.
It's a marvel you could communicate that
Woof
way.
was good already. Woof. We didn't. Then words came. Words came to describe things because we would say, hand me the We didn't know what to give them. So we made up Voyage. And Voyage came about how the object came to be. We made up the word. For instance, egg. Egg, the word egg.
Egg.
You see, an egg. How did they get the word egg? Where did it come from, an egg? Why did they call it an egg? Why didn't they call it a glass? But it's not a glass, it's an egg, right? Egg. So we watched a chicken, watched it, constantly looked on it, and with fierce looking and attention to the chicken. We watched it for hours and hours. We looked at the chicken. We watched it, and then as the egg came out, we heard, egg. We called it egg. That's how you got the name.
Very good.
It's a reason. There's nothing is a mystery if you got brains. It's all understanding for what it is.
I see. Is that a speech impediment that you have? That sound you just made?
No, it's to get a laugh. It's a laugh. See,
oh, that's you're a bit of a vaudevillian, aren't you, sir? Yeah, I see. Surefire laugh getter, is it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes. What have you done through the ages to earn a buck?
Well, I was in many businesses, many opportunities, and I like that.
Very fun.
But the first job I had in the world, the first I was in business, I was in religion. I was one of the first in that. I saw it coming. I said, this is going to be big for a few thousand years. I'm getting it. In the ground floor.
Religion itself?
Religion. Yes. Worshipping and everything. I jumped in there.
You saw a good thing.
I saw a good thing. I was the first manufacturer in the world of the Morgendove, the Jewish star. I made them. I had a factory, a big cave. And I employed 6 workers, each with a point. And a given signal, go, they would run together and make a Jewish star. Fusing.
Incredible.
6 points. And there was a lot of accidents. Sometimes the point would be the wrong way. They would crash into it. But there was no workman's compensation, so we didn't care. You know, we got another point.
What do you have planned for the future, and how much future do you think you have?
About 40 minutes.
Oh, you're silly. You have a pessimistic outlook.
I have a thing
life,
in my. It's a pain in here, but I'll get over it. Maybe it's gas, maybe it's death. We hope for the best.
I see.
That's all we can do.
I see. Would you be offended if we were to pause for a message? Do you know what a commercial is in our modern world?
Choice do I have? I have no choice. You have to sell the Jell-O, right?
Well, it isn't actually Jell-O. It might be any number of things.
It might be a lot of things. It might be a station break. It might be for a dopey TV show. It might be one of those things late at night that you have, right?
One of those. It could be any number of things. It could be eggs.
Let's hope for the best. I hope they don't stink.
I hope not too. Now, here they come. Anyway, whatever it is. No kidding.
Yeah,
you're full of amazing things.
No, I'm alert.
I wonder if you know my next 2 guests.
I bet I do.
I'll bet you don't. They're the 2 young stars of the controversial flick, as they say in the trades, Zabriskie Point. They didn't know each other until they made this film, and presumably do now. They lived with a number of other people in a commune outside Boston, and I have never talked to anyone who lived in a commune. And will you welcome, please, Daria Halpern and Mark Frechette? Yes. Mr. Brooks, Mr. Reed, do you know one another? I feel at a loss, and it's a terrible thing to have to do, but I won't see Zabriskie Point until next week. So, but I will see it then, and I assume we can be friends without my having seen Zabriskie Point.
Sure.
Yeah.
Probably more opportunity now than after.
More now than ever?
Yeah.
Well, you were both not actors when you made that film. I mean, you were not experienced actors, either one of you.
That's true.
Yeah. And this happens all the time, and people wonder how it comes about. Where did they find you, for example, Mark?
On a bus stop.
On a bus stop?
Waiting for a bus.
Yeah. There's more to the story, right?
No, that's about it. I was on a bus stop. There was, you can't get into much when you're waiting for a bus, you know? You're there and you're waiting.
No. Not a fight, for example?
There was a verbal argument.
Oh, I had been clued in that you were in a fight with someone and you were discovered fighting.
Just a verbal thing.
Oh, verbal,
Yeah.
Not actually striking one another.
No, I see, he was on the 3rd floor of an apartment building, so it was all I could do to shout, you know.
Oh, yeah. difficult to fight with a man in a third-floor apartment building. Would you agree, Mr. Brooks?
Yes, it's you got to yell
Loud.
You have to. The invective has to carry, so to speak.
Yeah. Right.
Did you win?
Well, I got the job and he didn't. I don't know who won the fight.
That's winning.
How do you like the way the film came out? Don't all talk at once.
Many times. There are parts of it I like quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, but I can't even talk to you about it because you haven't seen it. You know?
Oh, but so you can talk to me even more freely about it because I have no prejudices.
Oh, well.
So I haven't seen it. Also, I'm not. My
well,
mind
then
isn't
save
closed,
your money.
Isn't closed on the. Save my money?
Sure.
You're not recommending your own film?
I'm not.
That's certainly a relief on a show, isn't it, to have someone come on and non-plug their film?
No, I don't want to non-plug it. I just say there's a lot in it that that I was disappointed in.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that was attempted that wasn't achieved.
Are you interested in making film from doing this, from this experience? I mean, would you want to direct a film yourself, for example?
Not right away, no. I don't want anybody on my back about things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, Daria, talk. Time is going. Say something. Just say hello. Hiya, Dick.
Thank you.
Say talk. Say hiya, Dick.
I have nothing to say yet.
You're gonna kill him. You're gonna wound him. Don't be afraid of anything. He's 5'3". You'll see when he stands up. Nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah, that's why I've never seen standing. They have someone else do the monologue. That's actually a double. Mario, where did you come from? I don't say the wings. I mean, you obviously...
San Francisco.
Yeah. Anyone else have a question?
I
Rex.
Well, I'm very curious about what it's like to work with Antonioni, because he is certainly as controversial as any of his films.
This may not
as
be
a
the time
man.
to find out, but I would be interested too.
Well, I mean, I don't know any actors who have worked with him before, and I just wonder, is he, because I've read a lot of things, and in fact I did an interview with him once in which he said he despises actors and he has no use for them at all, and actors are like cattle. You walk them through a fence, he said. And did you feel
Did you write
that?
the interview where that came out in?
I think that's
say
come
those
out in
things to you?
several interviews,
Yeah,
but
I
I
heard
wrote
about that.
one. But I'm just curious, is he good with actors or not? Did you feel that you were helped?
It depends on your personal relationship with him, if you have one with him. And this is a hard part, because he's a very distant man, you know. He stays pretty withdrawn.
I felt very close to him personally, but it didn't come through in the film. It was
I felt very different from him, very separated from him through most of the film. I think that also came through.
Did you ever get sore at him?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What were the circumstances?
I don't even remember, but we got pretty sore
Yeah.
a couple times.
And how would this get resolved? Did he win?
You know, you're not in it to win. You're in it to get something going. I mean, I was desperate, you know, working with a guy with his reputation and with what he knows about cinema. I wanted to learn something.
Yeah.
But he wasn't teaching, so I got mad.
Oh, I know what I wanted to ask you about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. You
Lay
were
it
on
on
a
me.
you were on a
Thank God.
I did that to relieve him. You were on a show, and as I get it, and I can't get the story straight, I hear a different story from several different people, and I didn't see the show. You got in sort of an argument with some of the other guests, and then the argument continued after the show. Do you know the incident I'm referring to?
Vaguely, yeah.
Could you tell it even vaguely?
Well, what exactly do you want to know?
Oh, nothing. I just thought I'd bring it up. Oh, no, this was a television program not unlike this one, and there was a
it was
certain a contretemps, to use Mr. Brooks' word, among the guests. It was a night that Mr. Hoffman wore a shirt made out of the flag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you pick up from there.
Well, what do you want to know about it?
The rest of it.
The rest of it? Well, that was it was quite a show. You know, they blanked out all the pictures of Abby, and pretty much from the time he came on the show, the content of the show, it just grew more and more chaotic.
Yeah.
opposing political and ideological viewpoints spilling all over the stage, and nothing, of course, was resolved, and left everybody with just that feeling that nothing had been resolved. You know, I feel responsible for it.
Did you actually get in a fight with the guy from Yale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was about the best thing that happened.
Was it?
Something was really created from that.
Yeah, he got a lump on his jaw, but not that big. But that's probably the only thing that did come out of the show.
You mean a guy from Yale lost a fight? Yeah.
Oh, well.
You live on a commune, is that right? Or is that the word you'd use to apply to what you live on?
No.
Then I'm wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Commune.
It's not a commune. It's a, what would you call it?
A bread box, something.
No, I thought I was using the right word.
It's a community, but the purpose of the community is not communal living. It's a community.
But seriously, is it anything like the kind of thing they showed in Easy Rider? Just people.
No,
you know?
definitely
No.
not
All right, well,
categorically,
categorized.
technically, any other way. It's
Nothing
not.
like that.
No.
That's everybody's image of a community.
Well, I mean, you know, it's kind of a square.
The community is for one purpose, and that's to serve Mel Lyman, who's the leader and founder of that community, and it's moving spirit.
Oh, yes, I
It's a
read an
leader-
article about him.
You did?
thing
What
that
article
makes-
did you read?
I don't know, because it was Xerox, but it was in a
I
magazine.
finally
and
got
it
a
was-
chance to say something,
Yeah.
and you're interrupting me.
That's right. She was on one of her talking sprees.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Oh, no, she forgot what it was.
Really
What,
good.
we'll give you a moment to think of it, my child. We'll be right back. Oh, as you know, people say often that movies are dirtier than ever. And my next guest can give us some testimony on why movie makers can get away with so many things that are amazing to people these days. He's Dr. Aaron Stern. He's a psychiatrist.
I thought it was going to be B.S. Pulley.
No.
No? Okay, let it go.
B.S.
Married
Pulley
to
is the
June.
name that Mel used to work
He's
under.
married to June. He's married to June.
He's a,
Pines.
Jerry and June Pizer. Why didn't they know?
2, 3, 4. As a psychiatrist and teacher, I went right back into that.
Right,
Did you notice
great,
that missing
groovy.
beat? He acts as advisor to the Motion Picture Academy. I mean, the Motion Picture Association on this very complicated rating system, the M's and the G's and the so-ons. And we thought he would maybe clear some of that up for us, but certainly not if I don't bring him out here. Dr. Aaron Stern.
Dr. Stern, how are you? Listen, Doctor, I have a little thing under here.
No.
That's rated X.
That's an X-ray.
Yes.
I said under here, though.
It's not that sort of a doctor. Please, could you give us a little rundown on those ratings and what the different ones are? There's M for mature audiences. How's it go?
No, there really isn't M anymore. There used to be, and that was replaced by GP.
Ah.
The system really deals with two elements, restricted versus unrestricted films. The unrestricted films essentially are G and GP.
What was Mark and Daria's film? Was Zabriskie Point?
That's an R. That's
An
a
R.
restricted film.
Uh-huh.
That means that young people under the age of 17 have to come with parents or some adult guardian.
The parents are with them.
Right.
So the children can explain it to the parents, maybe.
Well,
I often wonder why
I,
is the accompaniment of a parent make it all right for them to see a film that they could easily see themselves?
well, you see, there really is a purpose
Yeah.
for the code in the following sense. The code really is designed to permit as much freedom and creativity to movie makers as possible.
Mm-hmm.
To do that, we have a commitment in part to the First Amendment and its interpretation relative to obscenity. And the one responsibility and the one purpose of the code is to protect children. Of course, that's the responsibility the industry has.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, what we do is that we act as a guide to parents. In no way do we censor. Unlike what Sam Peckinpah implied on the show, we never censor.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, I did. We never ask anyone to edit a film. That's entirely elective on the part of the creator.
Mm-hmm.
But as frequently as he edits, he has a right to resubmit the film before it's been released, or once it's been released, to withdraw it for 60 days and then resubmit it.
But Doctor, is there not a subliminal pressure for one to take out things that might be construed as, dirty by you old fogies?
If you want
Well, I think you've made a couple of points, and in all fairness, if there's...
Isn't there a pressure? I mean, even
As
if
far
it
as I'm
sounds
concerned,
not
no.
stated?
And as far as Jack Valenti and the association is concerned, no. I think sometimes a company, a distributing company, or the filmmaker has the notion he wants a different rating. Maybe he wants to get away from an R to a GP for broader distribution. And so he's working to edit in the service of getting a rating. Frankly, you can take any rating that you've earned. We don't care whether you release your film as an X or an R. We have no interest in driving your rating down to G or GP or endorsing the film. That is not true.
Why do you say driving it down to G or GP?
Well, the notion being that the further down the scale you go, the broader is your distribution potential. I don't mean in terms of a value system of good or bad.
So doesn't an X rating sometimes draw an audience because of the prurient possible interest of the film?
That's been the history, unfortunately, because I think the X rating has been misunderstood. Mm-hmm. The X rating doesn't mean it's a dirty film. It merely means it's an adult movie. In fact, the X rating really goes beyond the purpose of the code.
Yes, it's for stag films. We know that.
Well, you know, I don't think that's fair. I don't think Alan Funt would be happy with the feeling that Naked Lady is a stag film. You know, I think Judith Crist feels that's a very clean, quote, X film.
He's not happy with an X rating either.
Well, a lot of people aren't happy with ratings, but I think in life you have to be mature enough to pay the prices for what you do. We really don't bargain or seek to bargain.
But who is to determine that?
No one really makes a singular determination. You get a group of people. You make them as representational as you can. Why?
Who are the people? Can you tell us?
Sure, I can.
You know, the age range.
Just give me a minute, Alan. Let me try to develop the concept, and then I'll get into details. Because it's not fair, I think, to the audience in general, unless I can elaborate the concept per se.
Absolutely.
And the point that I wanted to make relative to the X is that it merely states that a film is beyond the pale of children's comprehension or specific capacity to make choices. The whole purpose of the code is to let parents make their own choices about what films they want their kids to see. Not Mel and not me and not these 8 people, not really. We don't endorse a movie. If it's G, we're not saying take your children to see it. We're saying the probability is that you won't be offended with the material in the film. If it's GP, we're merely saying use a little more discretion, and in a sense we're talking about parental guidance as being suggested.
So it's really the parents that you're concerned with. I would assume that there's someone who's proved somewhere along the line that it's harmful for young people to see certain things in films, but that's always questioned.
I don't think so.
You don't subscribe to that?
I don't think there's been any valid evidence to indicate as to whether or not films are harmful per se. There's been a lot of studies done. I don't think they've been highly sophisticated studies. I think they've been more imitative things. You'd give kids some dolls to play with. After seeing an aggressive movie, if they push the doll around a little more violently, then theoretically they've been effective. That's imitative behavior, but there's no meaningful studies on character change or character integration as a reflection of films.
So there's a sense in which it's the parents' feelings that are being protected more than the...
Well, we're really protecting children, and we're protecting children by trying to help parents and children use this as a guide in deciding what films they should see. Now, without this protection, you couldn't make Zabriskie Point as an R, you couldn't make Satyricon, you couldn't make Women in Love as an R, Boys in the Band. If you look at what's happened to the industry...
But no one is disputing whether you make it as an R or an M or an L. That's not important, but we still can make Zabriskie Point.
What does the alphabet have to do with movie making? I mean, I think that like all causes where people try to save people from being poisoned by outside influences that they feel they can't understand, the ratings started out as a good thing. But I think that it has really not... it's all gotten so screwed up along the way. First of all, I would like to know who in the hell should tell a child of 12 years old who is dying of an overdose of heroin in the Bronx that he can't go to see a movie called Woodstock, which is about the whole young people's movement for peace.
You see, I think
that is a movie that is made for kids.
I'm sorry.
I think...
we have to stop right now. We'll be right back. 3 minutes left. What was the point we're trying to clarify here?
What I'd like to say is I think what Rex did is effective for debating, but it could be destructive in terms of trying to communicate an idea. He quickly cut through and pulled out of context the idea that any concept of restricting freedom is of course oppressive, and no one wants to do that. And no one pretends we're trying to undermine what kids get a chance to do. Quite the contrary. Filmmaking has become young people's medium. They're reading less and going to movies more, and it's much more literary and much more sophisticated. To protect that medium so it's free enough for them to express themselves, you have alternatives. Self-regulation or censorship. There's no contest. Self-regulation is far more effective. We in no way limit films. In fact, the X category means As of the moment, under existing laws, only the federal government decides what's obscene. As far as the rating code is concerned, you can make any film you'd like. And all we do in giving it a rating is protect children and parents to the extent that there could be no federal intrusion or any other kind of local intrusion, which would do many things. It would not merely constrict the opportunity to communicate by opening up the medium. It goes further in terms of confounding distribution and can cripple the financial realities of the industry. It's easy to sit back and say, what are you doing with letters? You're hurting us. And the truth of the matter is that most of the major companies and most of the creators feel as of the moment that that very code enables them to make films they could never have made before. And while they pay some price, I think this is the only meaningful way to live in any event. There's no such thing as something for nothing, and responsible people pay a price for what they choose to do. You can make any movie you'd like, a G, a GP, an R, an X. And what we'd like to make it possible for you to do is to make it, exhibit it, distribute it, but give people in Iowa, in Nebraska, the same choice that Rex Reed has. He has no more right to speak for the entire public.
I have more of a choice than the people in Iowa and the people in Nebraska,
but you
because
have no
I'm
more
over
right
21.
to speak for them than they have to speak for you. And what we try to do...
But they're not speaking. You're speaking for them.
We're not. What we try to do in the board...
No, you're telling them that their kids can't go to see Medium Cool.
No.
Now, Medium Cool is a picture that has an X rating.
I'm glad you brought up Medium Cool.
I would require my children to see that movie.
I'm glad you brought up Medium Cool. Medium Cool, Midnight Cowboy are two of the films that made it possible for us to redefine the code. Under today's conceptual frame of reference, if they could resubmit those films, they'd probably be ours. They're no longer X. And that was in part in response to teachers who said, I'd like to be able to bring my kids to see this. Like any system, you grow from experience. It doesn't take much talent to knock something down. When you have a better one, we'll replace it anytime.
We're cut off by time. We'll have to have you both back to continue this because we're just out. We'll be right back. So, gentlemen, we'll have to continue this some other time. We're really out of time.
Movies are an art
Rex
form,
Reed, Daria Halpern,
and Modigliani,
Mel
and
Brooks,
Rubens were not censored,
Dr.
and movies
Ernst.
shouldn't be censored, and that's
I think that clears it all up.
That clears it up.